I find it funny when I see Luxembourg travel recommendations and see just a day recommended for the whole country. The thing is, yes, the capital city of Luxembourg is also called Luxembourg, but it also has other towns and cities. And one of the other towns is this one. It's called Clervaux. It's in the north of Luxembourg. The first thing I did when I arrived in Clervaux was go to the tourist office. I needed to get as much information as I could on the town. The staff were very helpful, and yes, they did speak English. They explained everything really well, things to do, how much time I needed to do some activities, and they also gave me this map. So this map is just to help me get around the town. After the tourist office, I made my way to the castle. It's pretty much Clervaux's most important landmark. The castle sits on top of a hill, but it's very walkable from the tourist office. It took me less than maybe 3 minutes to get there from the tourist office. And on the castle grounds, you actually get an elevator or lift to get to the lower side of town. This is the lift or elevator that takes you to the lower side of town. And from here, you can also see a panoramic view of the lower side of the town. Now, about the castle, it's no longer a residential castle. It doesn't serve as a home for nobility. Its current use is public and administrative. And currently it houses museums and some municipal offices. So some parts are open to visitors and others aren't. In the castle, I started with the Family of Man Station Collection Museum. It's a permanent photographic exhibition, and apparently it's one of the most famous photographic collections in the world. This exhibition is a celebration of humanity and shared human experience through photography. It aims to show the universal human connection that, despite cultural, political, and geographical differences, we all share the same emotions. The exhibition has over 500 photos from 68 countries by 125 photographers. The original exhibition was actually debuted at the Museum of Modern Art in New York in 1955, and it became a permanent exhibition in Clervaux in 1994. This is a permanent reproduction of that historical exhibition. And why is this in Luxembourg now? Well, the curator of the exhibition, Edward Steichen, was born in Luxembourg, and he grew up in New York. Then after, he gave his work to his birth country to honor his roots. After the exhibition, I went to the next museum in the castle. This one is called the Clervaux Battle Museum. This museum focuses on the events of the Battle of Bulge during World War II. This battle took place in the Ardennes region, including Clervaux. I wasn't sure why it's called the Battle of Bulge, but this is what Google is saying. In December 1944, Germany launched a surprise attack against Allied forces in the Ardennes forest during World War II. The offensive pushed deep into the Allied lines, creating a large bulge in the front line on the military maps. This is where the name Battle of Bulge comes from. At first, German forces made significant gains, catching many Allied soldiers by surprise, but strong resistance, especially from American troops, slowed the advance. Harsh winter conditions and fuel shortages also weakened the German attack. By January 1945, Allied counterattacks pushed the Germans back and eliminated the Bulge. The battle became the largest fought by the United States in World War II and marked Germany's last major offensive on the Western Front. And so this museum displays military artifacts, weapons, uniforms, maps, and personal stories from soldiers and civilians. It gives you historical context for the region during the winter of 1944 till 1945. The castle itself was actually heavily damaged during this battle, and it was later on rebuilt, making it a powerful place to tell the story of the battle. And in the same museum, there's this other side that has models of 32 castles and fortresses from Luxembourg. And this section aims to show how medieval castles or fortresses were designed and how towns developed around them. I also saw these plates on display. They were decorated with the castles. And so that was what I saw inside the castle. And on the castle gardens, there are sitting areas like this. It's the same area where it leads you to take the left to get to the lower side of the town. And you also get that panoramic view of the lower side of the town. You can also play with this giant chessboard. To get to the lower side of town, I actually took the stairs, not the lift. I mean, it's not even that many stairs. I understand that some people might need the lift in order to get up to the castle, but as somebody who doesn't need to, I just took the stairs. On the lower side of town, just outside the castle, there's this M4 Sherman tank. It's a real tank, so it's not a replica. It's the main tank used by the United States during World War II. It's there to commemorate the Battle of the Bulge. Next to the tank, you also get these historical photos on display. They give you more details about the battle and how it affected the town. As you walk around town, you also get these Lodge Tour app signs. Lodge Tour app is a GPS-based audio guide app. It lets you explore places like cities, museums, hiking trails, and more. It's basically like having a local guide in your pocket that tells you all the history and stories as you walk around. The town becomes really interesting that way. Without the app, the atmosphere is completely different because the app tells you stories, and without the app, obviously, it just seems like a really quiet town. But once you start listening to the explanations, you realize that there's actually a lot of history behind all of these streets. Just a few minutes walk from the castle, you will find the Church of St. Cosmas and Damien. It's the main parish church in Clervaux. Outside the church, they had these random photos. I'm not exactly sure why, but if anybody watching who knows why, please let me know in the comments down below. This church is where a lot of the events happen for the locals: baptisms, weddings, funerals, and more. It also acts as a parish center for many surrounding villages. From the church, you get to see this panoramic view of the castle, the town, and some of the nature around it. Honestly, this town and a lot of other towns in Luxembourg, they just look like fairy tale towns.
Je peux voir ici.
And from the church, you can start hiking with this trail. So if you like hiking, this town is quite good with spots. There is a lot of forest trails, mountain biking trails, road cycling trails, and they also have an aquatic center. This is where you can do some swimming. Apparently, they also have a football team. So if you're lucky, you could come across one of the community matches. And so if you like outdoor sports, I think this town is really good. I did a bit of hiking. I just followed that trail from St. Cosmas and Damien Church, and I came across this monastery called the Benedictine Abbey of St. Maurice. It's an active monastery, so monks do live here. It's not always open to the public, but you can join daily mass at 10 a.m. and you can experience the monastic traditions. The abbey was founded in the early 1900s. It was destroyed during the Battle of Bulge in 1944, and then the monks rebuilt it after the war. The first monks originally came from France, but due to anti-religious laws in France, they settled in Clervaux. This is where they were welcomed. The abbey also has this exhibition about the life and work of the monks. So it has images of the monks' daily life, historical photos of the monastery, and explanations of the Benedictine spiritual traditions. After the monastery, I went back to the town to explore the high street. They have these beautiful flowers, but I suppose you can only really see them between spring and summer. In winter, I'm not so sure. And the high street was very quiet, but it had a few shops and restaurants. I didn't get a chance to try any restaurants, but the ones I saw were mainly Italian and some kind of like sushi Asian restaurants. One thing I really want to understand is that these quiet towns in Luxembourg have most of these shops closed on weekends, and when they're open, not many people go into them. How do they make money to keep the shops running? And the property prices in Luxembourg are so high. How are they doing this? Another thing I've noticed is that cash points are not usually in the open, they're usually inside a building. This is good security-wise because you can actually lock the door when you're withdrawing the cash, but you are quite limited in terms of when you can access the money because most of them do close at 10 p.m. As you walk around town, you will see a lot of wartime memorials like this one. Now, the box with red plastic on the bottom next to the bin is actually 3 bags for you to pick up your dog's waste. I honestly don't understand, even with this, some people still don't pick up their dog's waste. I think they should just start giving out fines. I just hate walking around some of these streets and there's like dog poop everywhere. I recommend half a day for this town. That's if you don't plan to do outdoor activities. I think half a day is enough to get through the museums, walk around the town, and try out some restaurants. For outdoor activities, then I think that's completely up to you on how much time you want to spend. The best time to visit, I would say it's spring till summer. This time around, the weather is quite nice. From my experience, it just won't rain as much as the other seasons. So, Clervaux and a lot of towns in Luxembourg, they do have these booths. This is where you can exchange books. Basically, you can leave a book and pick up another one. Most of the books will be either in French and German. Apparently, you can even leave old toys as well. So the books will mostly be in French or German because the most commonly spoken language here is French, but a lot of people can also speak German, and of course Luxembourgish. I've been told by some natives though that Luxembourgish wasn't written in the past, it was just spoken, so I don't know what the chances are of finding books in these booths that are in Luxembourgish. The easiest way to get to this town from Luxembourg Center is by train. You can get a direct train and it takes just an hour. Buses are available too. I just took the train. It's much easier for me. I took it from Pfaffendahl. And if you're driving, that's even better because you actually get full control of your schedule and they do have a lot of parking spaces. Another thing I should point out though is that from this area, you can easily get to Vianden Castle. It's another beautiful place in Luxembourg. I'll be making another video for that soon. And if you're driving, it's actually very easy. It would take about 25 to 30 minutes. The bus, you might need to transfer. Sometimes you get direct bus, but to be sure, just check with the tourist office. So the population in this town is quite small. It's about 1,600. Not the commune, just for the town. But I still expected a few more people to be outside, you know. There was hardly anybody outside. And this was on a Saturday as well. If you're interested in more charming small towns in this region, check out my page for more videos. I have quite a few for Germany. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I hope to see you in the next video. Bye.